Exposed, 10 life-changing truths revealed after she said, "Trust me or lose me forever." In the heart of Maplewood, where every whispered secret could ignite a firestorm, Sarah rolled up her sleeves for another long night at the diner. With shattered dreams, a worn-out smile, and the weight of a world resting on her shoulders, she poured coffee into chipped mugs while serving slice after slice of pie. The clinking of silverware danced around her, weaving a symphony of hard lives and silent struggles. She was a fighter, a single mother battling the unyielding tide of expectations and judgment, each day scraping together just enough to keep the fridge stocked for her inseparable 9-year-old, Mia. But tonight, everything felt heavier. As the clock ticked closer to closing time, Sarah's heart raced with both anxiety and hope. The harvest fair was almost here. She wanted to really cook like her dad used to, with passion flowing through every dish, but self-doubt gnawed at her. What would the wealthy diners think of her humble creations? They were the critics in a town where dreams often crumbled under the weight of gossip and condescension. She could almost hear their scoffs. That night, while unloading her heart with Mia, the storm began to brew. Tears glistened in Mia's big brown eyes. "Mom," she said, her voice shaking with ferocity, "if you don't believe in yourself, how can I?" Those words blasted through Sarah like a thunderclap. How had it come to this? A child, so young and precious, laying down the truth. "Trust me or lose me forever," Mia added, her plea piercing Sarah's soul. Those words struck deep, igniting a flicker of determination that had long been overshadowed. Just then, chaos filled the diner as laughter abruptly shifted to murmurs of judgment. Sarah faced the familiar faces, childhood friends who had soared to heights she could only dream of. Yet, in that moment, staring at Mia, it became clear. She had a choice: stay quiet and protective, or fight and inspire, not just for her, but for them all. As the harvest fair drew nearer, she decided to rise. The kitchen became her sanctuary. With ingredients spilled across the counter, she channeled her dad's spirit, folding in love with every chop and stir. Yet, the gossip from the townsfolk simmered like a pot on the stove. Little whispers, disdainful glances lurking at every corner, waiting to tear her down before she even had a chance to stand on the stage. And on competition day, doubt danced like shadows around her. Standing among a sea of privilege, each contestant a reminder of her struggle, the piercing glares felt like daggers. Would they ever see her the real Sarah? In the moment when she first plated her dish, anxiety bubbled within her. The admiration from the crowd pulled at her heart. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. This was more than just a cook-off. It was a stage for justice, love, and resilience. In a moment of clarity, Sarah raised her voice, challenging the whispers and the status quo. Could she truly reshape how her community defined success? While her heart raced and the crowd quieted, her own fears settled like dust in the air. Then, unexpectedly, whispers turned into gasps, an unforeseen twist threatening to hold her back once again. As heads turned, Sarah felt the undeniable urge to push through, breaking the silence that wrapped itself around her too tightly. Would she drown in the expectations, or could she harness the power of her voice to reshape the very fabric of Maplewood's judgments? The spotlight was on her now, but at what cost? The tension in the air was thick, almost suffocating. Sarah felt the weight of every eye upon her, the scrutiny nearly tangible. It was as if the room collectively held its breath, waiting for her next move. The once familiar hum of chatter had faded, leaving only the echo of her own heartbeat. She could feel Mia's presence behind her, a silent mass of unwavering support, yet the fear of failure loomed like a shadow. She had been sharpening her skills for weeks, imitating the fervor and flair her father had etched in her memory. But questions circled her mind. What if the judges turned up their noses? What if, despite all of her effort, the food didn't translate her passion? A bead of sweat trickled down her spine, but she swallowed hard, refusing to back down. This was her moment, not just for herself, but for Mia. "Here goes nothing," she whispered to herself as she pulled herself to stand taller. Stepping forward, she clutched the plate filled with her carefully crafted dish, a medley of flavors that spoke of home, resilience, and love. The vibrant colors invited the senses to dance, a stark reminder that beauty could emerge from struggle. The judge, a seasoned celebrity chef with sharp eyes and an even sharper tongue, motioned for her to present. Standing before him and the audience felt like standing on the edge of a cliff. But as she opened her mouth to speak, something across the room caught her eye. It was one of her childhood friends, a girl who had once shared dreams of making it big in the culinary world. Now, in a designer dress, she sat among the elite, arms crossed and a smirk on her lips. Sarah suddenly felt small again, but then she remembered Mia's words. "Trust me. Today, I'm serving something special," she began, her voice steadily rising out of the haze of doubt. "My dish is inspired by not only my father's recipes, but the spirit of everyone here. It's the flavors of Maplewood, blended with a message of unity and strength." The crowd stirred, some faces in the audience turning to each other, surprised by her confidence. Encouraged, Sarah recounted the dish's journey, the warm memories tied to the ingredients, and how each bite was a reminder of who they all truly were, not defined by their bank accounts or social status. As she plated her dish and handed it over, the judge examined it closely. The anticipation hung in the air, crackling like electricity. And just as Sarah held her breath, she spotted Mia, her wide eyes shimmering with pride. That simple spark from her daughter ignited something deep inside her. This wasn't just about food, it was about love and connection, grit and perseverance. But as the judge took a taste, the atmosphere shifted. A small gasp escaped his lips, and then silence ensued. Just a moment, but it felt like a lifetime. Would it lean towards praise or condemnation? "Wow," said the judge, a slow smile creeping across his face. "This is simple yet layered with complexity." The words danced around Sarah, filling her with warmth. But before she could soak it all in, a shout came from the back of the room, cutting through the moment like a knife. "This isn't fair. She doesn't belong here." All eyes shifted to the back. Sarah's heart sank. Just as she thought she was breaking through, doubt and anger roared back, threatening to pull her down. Who was it now? Would she lose everything she had fought for in that instant? "Who said that?" she demanded, her voice almost trembling, both with fear and sheer determination. As she scanned the room, the weight of confrontation hung on the brink. Would she stand firm, or would she let the tide of judgment wash over her again? Who was she really, standing before them? Could she show them her truth and claim her place, or would she walk away defeated? The answer was closer than she realized. The words hung in the air like a lead weight. She inhaled sharply, her heart racing as the hulking shadow of doubt loomed large again. The voice had come from Amelia, the girl who once shared her dreams. Sarah swallowed hard, drawing strength from the warmth of the radiant colors on her plate, a palette of vivid memories and culinary inspiration. This moment wasn't just for herself, it was a message woven through generations. "Amelia," Sarah called out, her voice stronger than she felt. The crowd stirred, whispers cascading like waves through the room. "You think I don't belong here?" The moments of silence turned heavy, eyes darting from Sarah to Amelia, who wore a smug grin, clearly relishing the attention. "Everyone knows this is a competition for the best," Amelia shot back, leaning back in her chair with false confidence. "And you? You're just a home cook trying to play chef." Something inside Sarah ignited. A memory flashed, her father cooking in their cramped kitchen, the way he would smile whenever a dish brought them together, the taste of affection infused in every bite. This was bigger than Amelia's words. It was about dignity, respect, and proving that it wasn't the uniform that signified a chef, it was the spirit and heart poured into the food. I may not wear designer clothes or have accolades like others, Sarah began, her voice steady now, echoing with conviction. But that doesn't make my food any less meaningful. It holds stories, laughter, and love. Isn't that what food is really about? A murmur rippled through the crowd. For a second, Sarah felt a flicker of hope. This wasn't just about culinary arts, it was about being seen for who you are and what you can create. The judge leaned forward, captivated. Sarah, keep going, he encouraged, his gaze sharp but warm. Taking a deep breath, Sarah continued. I wanted to share a part of my life how food can unite us. In a world that often divides, here we can be reminded of our connections, the intimate moments shared over a meal. As her words flowed, she cast a glance at Mia. They shared a brief smile, and Sarah could feel the weight of her daughter's adoration rising. If Amelia wanted to tear her down, Sarah could either crumble or rise even higher. Every flavor has a reason, she declared, her hands gesturing toward her dish. The spice of the sauce represents the warmth of community I grew up in. The sweetness of the vegetables symbolizes the joy found in sharing life with others. Every bite carries me back home, to Maplewood, where we learned that love is the ultimate ingredient. The place began to vibrate with whispers of admiration, eyes reflecting a collective reconsideration. Maybe her dish wasn't just a plate of food, but an emblem of faith, community, and resilience. And just as Sarah hoped the storm was over, a slow clap began in one corner of the room. It spread, building momentum until almost everyone joined and the sound became a wave crashing against the shores of doubt. In that moment, Sarah felt herself lifted, buoyed by hope and acceptance. But can she really win? Amelia's voice cut through the applause, sneering once again, trying to sabotage the crowd's shift. The room grew quieter, tension hanging on that question like a taut string ready to snap. That uncertainty clung to Sarah's heart. She had momentarily claimed her space, but what would happen when the votes were cast? Would her journey peak here with applause or dive back into failures seeping from cuts aimed at her heart? Just when she thought the moment might end in triumph, deep anxiety clawed at her again. Trust me, Sarah whispered, recalling Mia's words. Could that trust keep her standing tall, even against the echoes of those who tried to knock her down? The suspense thickened, and she knew this was just the beginning. One way or another, the next phase would challenge her belief in herself, and the taste of victory or the sting of harsh reality lingered just around the corner. How far would she go to protect what she'd built? The judge cleared his throat, and every eye turned, waiting for a verdict, ready for the next act of this unfolding drama. Would it validate her fight or tear down everything she stood for? Would love and resilience triumph when faced with judgment? Moments ticked away, and the answer was as tantalizing as the dish she had just presented. The judge leaned back, fingers steepled, his expression a mix of curiosity and contemplation. Silence enveloped the room, thick enough to stifle the racing hearts of everyone present. For Sarah, every tick of the clock echoed painfully in her ears, a relentless reminder of her vulnerability in this moment. Sarah, he began, his voice powerful and resonant, you've brought something quite unique to the table today. He paused, allowing the weight of his words to settle. The anticipation rose, thick as the steam wafting from the dishes that surrounded her. While there are many talented chefs, what you've presented is more than just flavor, it's a story. Around the room, Sarah could feel the collective breath held in anticipation. Her heart soared, but hovered just behind a layer of anxiety. And that story, the judge continued, is what this competition is ultimately about. You've reminded us all that cooking is an extension of ourselves. As he spoke, Sarah's eyes darted to Amelia, whose expression flickered between annoyance and fear. This was not the victory she had hoped for. The crowd had rallied behind Sarah, their energy shifting like clouds parting to reveal the sun. But the judge began again, pulling Sarah back from her thoughts. You must also understand that culinary mastery entails more than just a heartfelt story. It requires skill, precision, and creativity. The crowd shifted uneasily. Had they misjudged the impact of Sarah's words? Could love and heritage outweigh technical ability? A knot tightened in Sarah's stomach. She knew her dish was born from love, but was it enough? She took a breath, steadying herself, channeling every ounce of strength she could muster. "I do understand that," she interjected boldly, wanting to seize this moment before it slipped away. But true culinary art is more than mere techniques. It's also about connection. It's about bringing people together, sharing history, and forging bonds through food. My father taught me this, and every plate I create is an embodiment of that lesson. The judge's eyes softened briefly, and for a moment, Sarah saw the flicker of understanding. The crowd clung to her words, leaning in, embracing this narrative of family and unity. "Very well," he said, gesturing as if carving out space for her claim. "But it's crucial to maintain that balance. In this culinary journey, the technical battle is crucial. You need to rise to that challenge, just as you've risen today to speak your truth." Cheers erupted again, louder this time, even overpowering Amelia's scornful cluck. Maybe she did say a few good things. The crowd was rallying, and Sarah felt a renewed sense of determination pulse through her veins. Then the judge added, "Let us explore that balance. Your next challenge is to elevate a traditional dish while maintaining that story aspect that you so beautifully spoke of." Wait, what did he say? A challenge? Tasked with crafting something even more unique and personal while incorporating technique. It was thrilling and terrifying all at once. Your new dish will need to showcase not just your heart but also your growth as a chef. There are still rounds ahead. Prove to us that you belong here. Sarah nodded, feeling the weight of expectations settle once more. It was a chance to not only defend her heritage but also showcase her evolution. The realization hit hard. She had fought to stand tall against Amelia and now had an opportunity to push a little further. What would she create? How would she balance her heart with her ambition? The road ahead was filled with uncertainty, but the spark of excitement flared within her. This was her moment. The energy in the room shifted to an electric anticipation, but as Sarah's hope rose, doubt began to whisper again in the corners of her mind. Could she truly rise to this new challenge? Just when she thought clarity edged closer, Amelia's voice, dripping with condescension, shattered her focus anew. "Let us see you actually deliver, Sarah. Can you handle it, or will you crumble under the weight?" The room hushed once more. All eyes were on Sarah, expectations heightened, the pressure mounting again. "Trust yourself," Mia's voice echoed in her thoughts. But could trust alone guide her through this next phase? As she stood there, determination brimming yet shadows of doubt creeping back, she realized this was just one puzzle piece in a larger picture. Would she embrace the challenge ahead and find the balance between her heart and skill? Or would doubt derail her journey? The stakes just got higher. The buzz of the room felt like a swarm of bees as Sarah stood frozen, her mind racing. She could sense the weight of the challenge. It loomed over her like a storm cloud ready to burst. Every gaze felt sharp, dissecting her thoughts and evaluating her worth. She took a moment to breathe, letting the air fill her lungs and whisper promises of determination. Could she craft a dish that would honor her father's legacy while also proving her culinary prowess? The duality of it all sent a shiver down her spine. "Focus, Sarah. You can do this," she murmured under her breath, as if speaking to the flickering flame of confidence within. Inspiration had sparked in her heart when the judge had mentioned elevating a traditional dish. She thought of her grandmother's recipe for chicken and dumplings, so simple yet rich with memories of laughter and love. But she needed to twist it, to make it her own. How could she innovate while still honoring those cherished memories? The ideas began to swirl in her mind, a dance of flavors punctuated by the echoes of her family kitchen. "What are you planning?" A voice interrupted her thoughts. It was Amelia, striding forward with an air of confidence, flaunting her own brand of culinary superiority. "Or are you still paralyzed by fear? We all know you can't compete with my skills." Sarah locked eyes with her rival, steeling herself against the taunts. Fear? It had lingered in shadows, but resolve began to light the way ahead. "I'm not afraid, Amelia. I'm just getting started." Amelia smirked, batting away Sarah's confidence like she was swatting away a bug. "I'll believe it when I see it. Good luck cooking your story." A quick flicker of panic threatened to surface, but she banished it. The challenge ahead felt insurmountable, yes, but it also felt like a calling. This moment wasn't about competition, it was about honoring her heritage, finally stepping out of the shadows. Inspired, Sarah slipped away, seeking solace and clarity in the bustling kitchen. The familiar smells enveloped her, a blend of spices and fresh herbs. She closed her eyes, letting the memories wash over her. Her father's laughter, the clanging of pots, the aroma of home. Each element drew her closer to her purpose. As the other contestants rushed around her chopping, sizzling, plating, Sarah found her focus. She needed to create a dish that spoke. It would have warmth and depth, just like her family's meals had always offered. The love and care poured into each ingredient would transform her task from mundane to magical. With each movement, she felt the rhythm of the kitchen course through her veins. She sliced the chicken tenderly, remembering her father's laughter echoing in the kitchen as he taught her the basics. The dumplings would need a twist, her grandmother's secret ingredient shone in her mind, a hint of nutmeg for warmth. Bringing it all together required determination, and Sarah's heart raced as she began crafting her dish. The narrative of her family unfurled with every stir and sprinkle. She wanted to create an experience, a story that transcended mere food. The power of connection vibrated in her fingertips, but doubts still clung to her, nagging at the edges of her confidence. Would the judges see beyond the flavors? Would they understand the story she wove into the dish? As she stirred slowly, she whispered a silent promise to herself. Whatever happened, she would stand proud. As she plated her creation, vibrant colors mingling like memories, the room fell silent. All eyes turned towards her, and her heart raced. This was it. Did she truly communicate the essence of her journey? Would she deliver on the promise of her heart? With one last glance at Amelia, a smile crept across Sarah's face. The tension was palpable. It wasn't just about competition anymore, it was about reflecting who she was. And as she presented her dish, a new question bubbled up within her. Would the judges embrace this journey of transformation she had shared? The clock ticked down, and Sarah waited, breathless and vulnerable, as the judges prepared to taste. Would her heart and skill finally align, or was the journey only just beginning? The judges approached her dish with a mix of curiosity and caution, their eyes scanning the vibrant colors and artful presentation. Sarah's heart thudded in her chest, the chaos of the kitchen fading into a hushed anticipation. Every second felt like an eternity as they hovered over her plate. Could they see the story she poured into every element? The head judge, a renowned chef with a reputation for his discerning palate, lifted his fork and took a small bite. The silence around her deepened. Time seemed to pause. She watched as he chewed slowly, his expression unreadable. Her breath caught in her throat, a mix of hope and fear clashing within her. Interesting, he finally said, tasting again, like he was unwinding the layers of flavor she had crafted. Sarah leaned forward, her heart racing, waiting for the next words to spill from his lips. When we elevate traditional dishes, we must find that delicate balance between innovation and nostalgia, he continued, making her stomach churn. You've managed to do that here. Relief washed over her, almost overwhelming in its intensity. But before she could fully bask in the moment, the second judge, a fiery woman known for her fierce honesty, leaned in to taste. Her eyes widened, reflecting a spark of intrigue that sent warmth through Sarah's veins. This is beautiful, the judge said, her voice filled with admiration. The hint of nutmeg surprises you beautifully, adding depth and warmth. I can see why this dish speaks to your heritage. Sarah's face lit up, her heart swelling with pride. She was reaching them. They were tasting the love, the history, the passion. She felt that connection, the bridge from her family kitchen to this moment, shared with people who understood. Then, like a gust of wind, Amelia's laughter broke in from the sidelines. Don't get too comfortable, Sarah. Just because you impress them with one dish doesn't mean you're in the clear. But Sarah smiled knowingly at her rival, feeling a surge of confidence. Amelia's words, initially sharp like daggers, were now mere background noise. She was no longer drowning in fear, she was swimming in her purpose. As the judges continued to taste, Sarah felt something shift within her. The competition had shifted from being about beating Amelia or proving her skills to something more profound. It was about celebrating her roots and connecting with others through food. Now, the head judge finally said, "Tell us about your dish." With steady breaths, Sarah spoke. "This dish symbolizes my family's love and tradition. It's inspired by my grandmother's chicken and dumplings, but I added nutmeg to reflect new beginnings and warmth, just like the embrace of home." The judges exchanged glances, considering her words. She saw a flicker of appreciation in their eyes and felt a surge of courage, but the moment was fleeting as the head judge leaned forward, his brow furrowed. "There is something not quite complete here, Sarah. Can you expand on this theme? What else does it need?" Her heart sank slightly, but instead of withering under his scrutiny, she felt a new challenge ignite within her. Perhaps she hesitated, trying to gather her thoughts. "Maybe I can incorporate a side dish that complements the chicken." A modern twist on a classic side could further connect the past with the present. Amelia scoffed again, but Sarah ignored her. With newfound clarity, ideas began to swirl in her head once more. What if she created a vibrant vegetable medley with hints of citrus? It would freshen the palate and add a modern vibrancy to her dish. As she moved toward the preparation area, adrenaline coursed through her veins. She had a chance to not just elevate one dish, but create an entire experience. But would it be enough? Would the judges appreciate her revisions? As she chopped and sautéed with purpose, the shadow of uncertainty loomed, making her question whether this added risk would pay off. Would she rise to the occasion and beyond? The clock was ticking again, but Sarah was no longer daunted. She was on a journey of discovery, one that would reveal not only her culinary potential, but perhaps something deeper about herself as well. As she plated her revised offering, the air crackled with energy. Would the next bite seal her fate, or would it open the door to an entirely new beginning? The seconds ticked down with an electric pulse of urgency. Sarah's hands moved deftly as she arranged the medley of colorful vegetables: bright orange carrots, crisp green beans, and zesty yellow bell peppers, each slice a piece of her heart. This was her moment, a chance to present not just a dish, but a reflection of her journey. The blend of citrus zest and herbs wafted into the air, invigorating her spirit like a gentle breeze. As she stepped back to admire her creation, the doubts crept in once more. What if her additions fell flat? What if the judges didn't resonate with the blend of old and new? Amelia's mocking voice drifted through her mind, taunting her to fail. But Sarah had come too far to let fear dictate her path. The last 5 seconds surged forward, a countdown filled with heartbeat-like tension. 3, 2, 1. The timer beeped, slicing through the silence with an almost celebratory clang. "Time us up," the host shouted, her smile dancing through the room. Just as Sarah squared her shoulders and brought the revamped platter to the judges, she met their scrutinizing gazes. The head judge was already eyeing the colors on her plate, and she felt a rush of pride. "I hope this tells the story more clearly," Sarah murmured as she set it down, her hands slightly trembling despite her resolve. "Let us find out," he responded, tension lingering in the air as he forked a bite of chicken and added a couple of pieces of the vegetable medley. He chewed slowly, nodding slightly, an encouraging sign. The second judge took a bite too, her expressions morphing from curiosity to delight. "These vegetables elevate your dish. The balance is wonderful." Her heart soared. Could this truly be happening? She darted her eyes to the third judge, wondering what he thought. He had a different, more critical demeanor, one that always kept her on edge. But when he took that first bite, the music of fulfillment began to play. "You've created a bridge from your past to the present," he finally stated, his voice a cool mixture of analytical and appreciative. "The citrus brings forward the freshness of new beginnings, while your chicken and dumplings ground the dish in tradition." "Well played." That warm flush crept back into Sarah's cheeks. She was ready to embrace her triumph. But as the judges continued tasting, she watched the head judge. He was still and observant, taking careful notes. Then he turned to her. "But tell me, Sarah, how does this version of your dish speak to you? What is the deeper meaning?" The question sent her heart racing again. This was the very soul of what she had cooked. Her voice cracked slightly as she began to answer. For me, food is more than just nourishment. It's love and connection. My grandmother used to say that good food built bridges. Each ingredient ties back to cherished moments in my family's kitchen. But her voice trailed off. She felt the weight of her emotions rising. The memories flooded back her grandmother's laughter, the smell of spices, the warmth of home. The head judge leaned closer, nodding in understanding, encouraging her to delve deeper. What else? Sarah took a deep breath, and with each word, she felt herself opening up. Each bite brings warmth and nostalgia. It's a reminder that even as we grow, we can carry our roots with us. The flavors transform, just like we do. That's what I hope people feel when they taste this. She could see it now. The judges were captivated. The head judge jotted down a few more notes, his brow raised in genuine interest. Then, unexpectedly, the door swung open with a loud creak. All eyes turned to see Amelia, her expression a mix of surprise and contempt. What's this? You think you can just waltz in here and steal the show? Amelia's interruption prickled the atmosphere, and tension pulsed in the air. Sarah stood rooted, her heart pounding, caught off guard. Had she managed to find her voice, only to be overshadowed once again? The stakes had suddenly shifted, the focus narrowing back on her rivalry. But as she looked at the judges, she realized she had something to stand for. Now a deeper purpose. Was her heartfelt passion enough to silence the doubt and unearth new potential? Or would Amelia's arrival twist everything into chaos yet again? Amelia stepped further into the room, the tension so thick it could be sliced open. Sarah's heart raced. Questions whirled in her mind, battling against the confident words she had just shared. How could Amelia even show her face here? This was her moment, not some twisted stage for Amelia to reclaim her spotlight. The other judges exchanged glances. Sarah could feel their eyes dart back and forth, sensing the shift in energy. She inhaled deeply, grounding herself in the warmth of her memories. She had poured her heart into that dish. It wasn't just about winning, it was about honoring her past and embracing the new. Amelia, one of the judges finally said, stern yet intrigued, this isn't your turn. We're focused on Sarah right now. But Amelia just laughed, a harsh sound that bounced off the walls. Oh really? She's got a touching backstory, sure. But can she truly deliver? I mean, we can't all just glitter up our failures with nostalgia, right? A whisper of disappointment flickered through Sarah. Was that what Amelia thought? That her connection to her dish was just a facade? The judges' reactions were mixed. A few frowned, while others seemed intrigued. Their expressions seemed to weigh heavily on the moment, escalating the stakes even further. I didn't come here to make excuses, Sarah began, her voice steadier than before, fueled by the need to defend herself and her cooking. I came to show how flavors can unite us, how they can tell stories. This dish, she gestured to her vibrant plate, is about celebrating what we carry with us, even through hard times. The head judge nodded, visibly interested. That's powerful, Sarah. Continue. As she spoke, she felt a shift, not just within the room but inside herself. Confidence radiated from her core. When my grandmother passed, it felt like a wall went up between me and my family. Cooking her recipes became my way of reconnecting. This dish is more than chicken and dumplings. It's a bridge back to my family, bridging old memories with new beginnings. And, just like each ingredient, we all evolve over time. Amelia scoffed, but the head judge's eyes reflected the truth. Your words resonate. It's not just a dish, it's a testament to resilience and transformation. Then, turning to Amelia, he added, what do you think? Caught off guard, Amelia faltered. I think she hesitated, clearly annoyed. It's all just sentimentality. Where's the technique? The second judge chimed in, but is there not grace in balancing technique with meaningful storytelling? Isn't that what great cooking is about? The air felt electric, sparking debate, tension building. Sarah's heart raced faster. She could feel the weight of the moment pressing down, but also lifting her up. Was this the final push she needed? Amelia was fighting to undermine her, yet her words were full of heart, filled with the essence that rooted her in love, family, and hope. Suddenly, the head judge leaned back, taking in her passion. Sarah, you fought to share your authentic self through food. Would you be able to present a dish that speaks to your evolution for a future round? Sarah realized she had been handed an unexpected lifeline. This was her chance to be seen, not just as a contestant, but as a chef with a story. But could she keep the momentum when Amelia was still lurking in the shadows, ready to strike again? Sarah took a moment, breathing deep. Yes, I'll do it. I'll show the full extent of what I have to offer. As the atmosphere shifted, she locked eyes with Amelia, the rivalry igniting anew. Then you better be ready, Sarah. I want to go easy on you, Amelia shot back, a hint of malice in her voice as she stepped back, but determination flickered in Sarah's chest. This wasn't over. What would it take for Sarah to secure not only her spot in the competition, but also silence the doubts once and for all? As the judges left the room to deliberate, she knew a challenge awaited. Would her heart be enough to face Amelia's relentless tactics again? The judges filed out, leaving Sarah in a cloud of uncertainty. She glanced at the remnants of her dish, the vibrant colors dulled by the intensity of the moment. Her heart still thudded loudly in her chest, the adrenaline surging through her veins. She was alone, but not truly. The memory of her grandmother's laughter filled her mind, urging her to keep going. In the stillness, Sarah allowed herself a moment to breathe. Her fingers traced the edges of her plate, a tactile reminder of what it represented. But as the hallway outside echoed with the footsteps of the judges, doubt crept back in. Could she really showcase her evolution? What if Amelia outshined her again? Why'd you let her get to you? A voice broke through her thoughts. It was Jenna, her closest friend and sous chef. You're stronger than that. You deserve this. Everyone's out for blood, Jen. Especially Amelia, Sarah replied, shaking her head. What if I can't deliver? Then you learn. That's what this is about, Jenna insisted, determination lighting her features. Every kitchen tells a story, and yours is rich with flavor and heart. Channel that. You can do this. Sarah felt a flicker of hope, a spark igniting in her chest. Jenna was right, of course. This was more than just a competition. It was about transforming her pain into something beautiful, something whole. Okay, then, Sarah said, her voice gathering strength. But I need to change my game plan. I need to dig deeper, not just show skill but bring my heart into it. Jenna smiled, the kind of smile that matched the brightness of her spirit. Yes, let us brainstorm. As they began cooking side by side, Sarah's doubts started to fade, replaced by a rush of creativity. They concocted new ideas, twisting traditional flavors into something unexpected yet familiar. With each chop and stir, Sarah's confidence grew. But then a thought hit her like a wave. What if she unearthed something more than just flavors? What if this was an opportunity to cleanse herself, an unveiling of her true self? A few hours later, after a whirlwind of ideas and flavors, they sat down to finalize the concept. I want this dish to reflect my journey, not just my past, but my steps forward, she declared, thoughtful and focused. I want to show that we can incorporate pain and joy into our recipes. That's what I'm talking about. Jenna cheered, pumping her fist in the air. With renewed purpose, Sarah started sketching a plan. The dish would embody nostalgia while embracing new paths of fusion of her grandmother's recipes with modern elements. After brainstorming ideas, a vision formed in her mind, one that would honor her family while daring to push boundaries. Suddenly, the door swung open. Amelia strolled in with a flair that bordered on theatrical. What's the matter, Sarah? Got a secret weapon? She taunted, feigning a casual interest. Just working on what I do best, Sarah shot back, surprised by her own boldness. Well, good luck then, Amelia laughed. You're going to need it. With a firm grip on her stirring spoon, Sarah felt a rush of determination. She wouldn't let Amelia's words rattle her this time. I'm ready for whatever you bring, Amelia. This is my time. As Amelia smirked and walked away, Sarah turned back to Jenna, who raised an eyebrow. She's not going to just roll over, you know? I know. But I'm not just fighting for a dish, I'm fighting for my voice, Sarah replied, the fire in her tone unmistakable. The countdown to the next round loomed ahead like a mountain she was determined to climb. But with every passing moment, the importance of this competition settled deeper in her heart. In that clarity, she felt a surge of purpose. Not only was she fighting to win, she was reclaiming her story. As they continued to refine plans late into the night, Sarah felt the pulse of possibility. But a lingering fear tugged at the edge of her confidence. Would she find the strength to unveil the dish that could truly represent her journey? And would she be able to face whatever Amelia concocted next? With the stakes higher than ever, Sarah stood at a crossroad, ready to take a leap into the unknown. What lay beyond that leap? As the countdown resumed, Sarah felt the heat of anticipation in her veins. The kitchen had transformed into a sacred space, an arena of creativity where the echoes of her past danced with the dreams of her future. She closed her eyes for a brief moment, envisioning the vibrant dish that would honor her family while showcasing her growth. In the hours leading up to the competition, she and Jenna had meticulously strategized. They merged classic flavors with unexpected twists. Her grandmother's beloved chicken and dumplings became a delicate risotto, infused with the zest of citrus and the warmth of nutmeg. Each ingredient told a story, connecting her to her roots while reflecting her journey. The day of the competition finally arrived. The moon hung low, like a watchful eye over the bustling crowd at the Maplewood Harvest Fair. The venue sparkled, a kaleidoscope of color and energy. Competitors hustled in the kitchen, and familiar faces buzzed with excitement. But amidst the chaos, Sarah stood firm, her heart brimming with resolve. As she entered the makeshift kitchen, surrounded by fresh veggies, spices, and glistening pans, the warmth of her memories enveloped her. Slicing and dicing, she could almost hear her grandmother's laughter guiding her hands. With each chop of the knife, Sarah felt the weight of her story, her family's struggles, and her daughter Mia's unwavering support. Remember, Ma, it's not just about the food. It's about the feelings behind it, Jenna nudged, sensing Sarah's inner battle. The words settled deep within her. She was not merely creating a dish, she was weaving a tapestry of her life, an ode to resilience. As time ticked down, pressure mounted, sweat trickled down her brow. The crowd swelled around her, their eyes glued to her every move. But in that moment, despite the looming fear of failure, Sarah found solace in her connection to her dish. When everyone else saw competition, she saw a chance to share who she was, what she believed, and show the power of love and hard work. Finally, the countdown echoed through the air. 3, 2, 1. Time was up. Sarah stepped back, gazing at her creation. The plate was a stunning fusion creamy risotto dotted with vibrant vegetables and adorned with fragrant herbs. It radiated warmth and home. She had done it. She had created an expression of her journey. The judges approached, and the tension climbed higher than ever before. The head judge took the first bite, his brows raised in surprise. The second judge followed suit, murmurs of admiration echoing around her. Sarah's heart soared, her emotions flickering between hope and doubt. Then, everything froze. Just as the judges began to share their praise, the unmistakable voice of Amelia sliced through the moment. What a shame, Sarah. I hope you didn't think a pretty plate could cover up a lack of technique. The audience was divided. Some nodded in agreement, others shot her disapproving glares. But instead of shrinking under Amelia's weight, Sarah felt a surge of defiance. It's not just a pretty plate, she shot back, her voice sounding louder than she felt. It's a story. A testament of love, family, and transformation. The air shifted. Silence fell, a palpable tension crackling like electricity. All eyes fell on Sarah. She took a deep breath, summoning every ounce of courage she had left. It's true, my technique may not be perfect, but neither is life. We all face struggles, and food has always united us through pain and joy. My dish embodies that unity, and I'm proud of where I come from. The judges nodded, impressed by her conviction. Amelia glared in frustration, but the crowd's energy was unmistakably shifting towards Sarah. Tell us more about your dish, the head judge encouraged, his curiosity piqued. This risotto is not just a dish, it symbolizes my journey, Sarah explained, passion threading through her voice. It reflects my heritage, comforting and familiar, yet evolving and vibrant. Just like my family, we're always growing, learning, and finding new ways to come together. As the words spilled forth, she felt a tidal wave of support rise within the crowd. Their admiration enveloped her, washing away the doubts that had lingered for too long. Finally came the moment of truth, the judge's verdict, held suspensefully in the air. Sarah, your dish has shown us an important truth, the head judge finally said. Great food embodies stories. Those stories resonate beyond the plate, just as you've illustrated tonight. You've not only found your place here, but have also challenged us to reconsider what cooking means. Emotions swelled as cheers erupted around her. In that moment, beads of tears brimmed in Sarah's eyes. She had done it. She had proven to herself and the world that her voice mattered. Amelia relented, her facade slipping. With a mix of begrudging admiration and disbelief, she walked away. It didn't matter now. Sarah had claimed her truth. She had turned the weight of judgment into a catalyst for growth. The crowd surged around her, celebrating her victory, a victory that transcended the competition. She felt Mia's arms wrap around her from the sidelines, their bond stronger than ever. I always knew you could do it, Mom, Mia said, her eyes shining with pride. Sarah knelt down to her daughter, pulling her into a warm embrace. We've done this together, Mia. It was your strength that got me here. As the applause filled the air, Sarah felt the exhilaration of triumph blossom within her. She was not only a contender, she was a champion of her own journey, a beacon of resilience, love, and hope. This was just the beginning, and she was ready for whatever lay ahead. And remember, this is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. You need to be part of this community. Don't wait not even one more second to share.